Hi.
Comes a time where the body, the soul go through the struggle, the fight. I remember when I was a little child, I grew up in Crown Heights. In Altera, we used to learn the stories of Tanakh and how the Jews saw open miracles every single day in the Midbar, and then the next day they're questioning Moshe and they are complaining. And I never understood, like also in Tanakh, you have a lot of amazing victories. You didn't have amazing victories, and then the next day already there's problems and they're doubting. And I never understood the rhetoric, the dialogue. Until I grew older, until basically 13, 14, 15, then I began to realize how the world works. So you have the darkness, you have the doubts, you have the concealment, and a lot of the stories that I learned as a child, how the Yidden were doubting, began to make sense. I was like, oh, I understand. We all come to a point where we say, yes, we could see miracles and we could open miracles and we could still deny it. Because that's the essence of Golus, the essence of concealment. And I think everyone comes to that point besides the tzaddik, who never has to actually fight with the darkness. But everyone comes to a point where they say, okay, the body, we have to at least give one victory to the body, one victory to darkness. You have to come to terms with this. And I think my brother Meir was a guy that never came to terms with the darkness. He struggled. He never gave in. He never gave in to the darkness. He would ruin the party of the darkness. He would ruin the. And a good example is a good example is the story that he was. The main thing that he hated about life, and I hated about life, meaning his main struggle in life, and he opened up to me as a brother, that he was very conscious of the fact that he was short. And it always hurt me because it was a very physical flaw that didn't really exist, meaning it already existed in his mind. He used to see himself as a short person, which he wasn't. He's a very big person. He was very big, but he used to see himself as a short person. We joke and we say that the main thing that he hated about life was his body. He had, when he was 1 or 2 years old, he had a very complicated operation on one of his eyes. He was cross-eyed, he was short, he had a raspy voice, which are all physical flaws. And I tell people that I don't think he's going to have a hard time letting go of the body. He was never really settled, which I'm not putting down the body, because the body is the whole reason why Hashem created the world, is with the human body. But Meir, since he was a kid, somehow he felt that he always felt as he was the underdog. And therefore it became his reality, that he was an underdog. But it didn't have to be like that, but that's the way he saw himself, as an underdog, and he overcompensated. I think he met more people he made more connections, I think, than an average 10 people would make. And always overcompensating, always trying to feel that he should be accepted. And he was really, I think, because of as a child, growing up, short, and he felt that he was always trying to be acknowledged, And I told someone, I said, I don't understand, what's this whole thing about acknowledgement? And someone said, because you have acknowledgement. Some people naturally are acknowledged. Small people that are put together, they have it naturally, so you can't really understand what it means to not have acknowledgement. And he was a guy that loved to be acknowledged. It was a story that he was working for someone, schlepping boxes or something, doing a random job, and the guy that he was working for gave him a compliment. He said, Meir, he said, Ata ish tzedek. He said, you're a righteous person, he told him. And literally for the next month, he walked around telling people that he's a righteous person. He's like, he said, I'm an ish tzedek. He told people. And I remember thinking, I was like, what are you saying? I was like, just forget it. I was like, I was thinking if someone called me and you said they would go from one, go into 1 year out the next, I was probably, I wouldn't smile at the guy. I would be like, yeah, okay, shut up. But he took this compliment, it's a simple compliment. Someone said, you're a righteous person, in the general sense. Meaning he saw he was a good guy, and he took it and he clung to it, and it meant something to him. It built him up, and words have created tremendous power. The world was created through words. People forget that. And it says Hashem created the world with 10 utterances, and a person could destroy the entire world with one utterance. By insulting someone, by being mean to someone, destroy the whole world. And I think the concept of acceptance is, I think, a very, very powerful concept of being accepted. And I don't know if you guys know what's going on in Arts, but there's a whole a dilemma in Crown Heights because of this program called the Shofar. And without getting into it, is that there's a program that they were doing these therapy techniques that weren't Torah based. So they caused a lot of controversy. But the reason why I bring it up is that this program, they call the Shofar, they somehow made people feel accepted, and therefore a tremendous amount of bakrim that were going to this place start opening up very deeply. And a lot of the establishment got very upset and very threatened because the power was being taken away from them. So the real question to ask themselves was, why is it that they had to go somewhere else to feel accepted? Why wasn't the system put in place in Crown Heights in a way that was designed that people should feel accepted, that should be able to open up? Why do they have to use these hypnotic techniques that are not based on, there's wisdom amongst the nations. It says if someone tells you that the nations have wisdom, it says in the Zohar you have to believe them. But the nations have a lot of wisdom. But so this program made people feel accepted. So that was the whole threat. And the essence of not feeling accepted, I think, is the essence of Golus. It's because the essence of Golus is that Hashem's light is not accepted as reality. That you could be davening and learning and inspired, and you could be connected, and you could see a revelation of godliness. But the minute you walk out on the street, if you don't take it down a notch, you could be labeled as crazy, because it's not the Hashem, unfortunately, is not the accepted reality. Ein Sof is not the accepted reality. And the very essence of Golus is that Klal Yisrael is not accepted amongst the nations as for what Klal Yisrael is. And the Rebbe said it. Many people complain to the Rebbe how Torah mitzvahs, it's so hard. The Rebbe was a very good salesman when it came to Torah mitzvahs. He's like, buy it, take one, get one free. Do Torah mitzvahs. And many people complain. They're like, we got the product and we don't know how to work it, and it's not working out for us. We want a refund. A lot of people complain to the Rebbe that you make it sound so beautiful, but how come so many people have a struggle with Torah mitzvahs? How come so many people don't do it even though it makes sense? And the Rebbe answered brilliantly. The Rebbe said that if all of Klal Yisrael was united in Eretz Yisrael, many of these bad habits, sort of like the main problem is that all the problems would disappear, and a lot of these made-up illusions would disappear if all of Klal Yisrael was united in serving Hashem in Eretz Yisrael the way it was, and the way it's happening. It's the way it's happening again, even on Piteva, Eretz Yisrael and the Yidden gathering. But that's the Rebbe said that if all of Klal Yisrael was gathered together in Eretz Yisrael, Torah mitzvahs would be much easier, because it would be acceptance. It would become the reality. When Ezra Sefer came from Galus Bavel together, when Cyrus gave Ezra Sefer the permission to build the Beis Hamikdash, he came with armed guards, and he came to Yerushalayim, and he said, anybody that doesn't keep Shabbos, you have to leave Yerushalayim, you have to keep your property here. So everyone all of a sudden started keeping Shabbos. So you don't want to, and he had thousands of armed guards that Cyrus sent by his side. Meaning, and that was the beginning of the second base of Mikdash, meaning there was still an accepted reality of Torah mitzvahs. Now, if you don't listen to Beis Din, I don't know, I heard in Kfar Chabad they shut off your hot water, but it's not it's not the accepted reality, and it's very, very hard. And I think that's the struggle, and I think that's the struggle of our Meir also was he was looking for acceptance, he was looking for love, and I think his story is people ask, he passed away, Chavdal Tevis, which is the yahrzeit of the Alter Rebbe. It's impossible to ignore the connection, but many people came over to me and they told me, what's the connection? What's the connection between Chavdal Tevis, which when a person passes away represents his whole life mission. It was represented when a person passes away. That's why it said, Shlomo Melech said, it's half years a day when a person passes away than you're born. Because when you're born, you don't know where the person's going. But when a person passes away, it's the end. It's the end of his mission. You know exactly what he accomplished, what his mission was. And he passed away Chavdal Tevis, and I think the connection is that as I think that our Meir was an Neshama Klolius on a certain level, that he reminded many people, that he touched many people in one way or another, that he reminded many people of their mission. Many people had to think twice about their lives when they just met him. And it would make people think, and especially, the way he passed away early, and everyone has to take a step back and ask themselves, who was this person? Asil Chaim, I think his message is to remind people that acceptance is a very big issue, and to give someone a compliment and to accept the person, it could literally save a person's life. And the whole thing of acceptance, that Mir Hashem, that the Ein Sof should be accepted reality. When you talk about Olam Hazeh, then they could people should look at you like you're off your rockers. When you see, L'chaim, L'chaim.